All right, so here we go. We are on lesson 3. This is day 1, reading about time and sequence. So if you can take a look at my screen right now, you can see where my cursor is bouncing, where it says learning target. Follow along with me, please. It says using time and sequence words will help you understand how events in history are connected. So, where it says read in green with the blue arrow, do you like a good story? Then you probably enjoy history. History is the story of events that happened in the past. Historical events are usually told in a sequence, which is the order in which they happened. The sequence can help you understand the relationships or connections between those events. When you read, look for signal words that give clues about time, order, and sequence. First, next, and finally are signal words. So are phrases such as later that year and in 1864. So we're going to read the cartoon below. What is happening and how are the events related? So taking a look at the bottom of page 38, you are going to see a series of 3 images, 3 pictures, and there is text below. So under the first image, it says, first the Vikings sailed to North America. Next image, next they started a settlement. Next image, after a few difficult years, the Vikings gave up and returned home. Please take a look under image number 2, looking at that signal word, indicating sequence or an order to things. Give me a quick thumbs up if you're seeing that signal word. Good. All right, so please turn to page 39. You're going to see this organizer. Up at the top where my cursor is bouncing, right here, it says to read the cartoon again. Notice the signal words that are used. Now fill in the chart below by writing the events in the order in which they happened. So we're talking about Vikings sailing to North America. We are talking first, next, and after a few years. Again, the sequence or the order in which the events happened. Now, I'm going to stop sharing my screen for just a second so we can come back together. So, who is it that can tell me why order and sequence is so important, particularly in historical text? Why is order and sequence so important? And Adon, I am seeing your hand. Go ahead, sir.
Order and sequence because if it's not in that order, it can the story. Like if after difficult years, the Vikings gave up and returned home. And then it says, first the Vikings sailed to North America.
Thanks, Adon. Your audio was cutting out pretty badly. I only got like every third or fourth word that you said. I did get some of what you said, so thank you for sharing it. So really, my friends, in summary, order and sequence is so important because, especially in historical texts, if we did not tell things in order, history wouldn't make sense, right? History wouldn't make sense. We could talk all about, for example, and we have in our government unit, about our 13 colonies and our 50 states. So we could talk all about our 50 states, for example, that we have now. We talked about the American flag, for example, and what those 50 states represent. I'm sorry, what the 50 stars represent, which are the 50 states. But many of you had the question, well, how did the 50 states become 50 states? Exactly. Exactly. So having these 50 states, the history behind these 50 states isn't going to make a lot of sense to us unless we talk about how we got there and why there are 50 states now. How citizens became citizens, how the United States became the United States. If we don't tell things in order, nothing would make sense. That's not just true for historical text, it's true for fictional text as well. When we read a story, there is a natural order to the story. This happens, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens. And a story unfolds. It gets told. So that could be true for any story that you read. That could be true for things like Diary of a Wimpy Kid. It could be true for the Dog Man series. It could be true for Magic Tree House and 39 Clues. And stories are told in a sequence. They're told in an order. That's what this is about. Being able to find those signals in the text, which are oftentimes in the form of special words. Sometimes they're in the form of pictures, right? Like we are seeing here down at the bottom of our first page. We're seeing a sequence of illustrations. And sometimes they're in the forms of words, as it's said in the text, where we talk about, first of all, next, finally, well, in conclusion. Those are all words or signals that indicate order. And we're going to be doing a lot of that this year. A lot of it. And you're going to hear me talk a lot about what we call transitional words as well. What that means, what it looks like, and why it's important. All right? So, let's see.